Which one of these eggnogs before me sucks the least?
Do you hear it?
That's almost not even a liquid.
You couldn't hear a dump truck driving through a nitro.
I didn't like that.
Fix the new post!
All right, gang, welcome back to the channel. In front of me today, we have a little bit of an oddball one, but given that we are very much in the holiday spirit here at Tree House, we thought we would give it a go. In front of me, I have 5 store-bought eggnogs. The way this typically works is I go through these beverages one by one. I'll provide some thoughts on the color, consistency, texture, flavor, aroma. Then I'll go back through them again, and I will crown the ultimate eggnog winner of the 2024 Tree House Eggnog Tasting. I'm gonna dive right into the first sample on your left, my right. This one very clearly looks like the most white of all the eggnogs, which is fascinating because, as we know, good eggnog uses the entire egg. They should be a little bit on the yellow side, showing that they have that yolk character. Sample number 1 is as white as my cousin Eddie's shirt. But it looks like it has some actual natural spice in there, presumably nutmeg. It smells like it too. Wow, that's actually very spice forward on the nose. Not getting that real milky, creamy, classic store-bought eggnog note in that one, but very, 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 very spice forward on the nose. Thick. I mean, all eggnogs are thick. This one's actually, I'm not sure. I'll have to compare as we make our way down the line. This is actually one of the thinner ones. This is almost like a custard. And then as we make our way down, we'll comment on those. But this first sample is a little bit on the thin side, actually, even though it coats the glass really nicely. It's good. It's not very eggy. If I were blindfolded and you told me that that was just like milk and cream with a little bit of nutmeg, I might believe you. But anyway, maybe they just used the egg white. Moving on to sample number 2. This is thick. Man, if this was a stout, holy cow. I almost can't even stir it in the glass. It's like chunky almost as it makes its way around. Got that real rich custardy store-bought eggnog on the nose. But again, unlike the first one, not a lot of spice and nutmeg on the nose. Kind of falls short there for me, but very, very eggy, very creamy, very custard-like. I'm sorry. That's almost not even a liquid. That is so thick, chunky. Someone let the custard go a little bit too long on this one, I think. Man, it's good though. Look at that. I mean, that's gonna look like that 5 minutes from now. Just stuck to the glass. Whew, chunky. Moving into sample number 3. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. It's amazing how different these are. This one's almost creamy on the nose. Like actual, whole milk, heavy cream. Kind of splitting the difference in egginess and spiciness to samples number 1 and 2, but really lacking the character of either one of them. Not a lot of spice though. Yeah, just kind of like middling all around on the nose. See how that tastes. Man, my palate's been so walloped by the first 2 that I'm not really sure what to make of that, but this one is drinkable. Creamy, little bit of egg character, not chunky at all, not too thick, not too thin. I wish sample number 3 had a lot more spice. If sample number 3 had the spice of sample number 1, I think it would be my favorite so far. But the fact that it doesn't means we gotta keep going. Sample number 4. Consistency of sample number 2 skewed the entire tasting, but these are all pretty thick. Okay, this one almost smells, this one smells familiar. This may have been the eggnog that we had in the Lanier household back in the day. This one tastes the fakest of any of them. I don't know what that means. What? Michael's laughing. It's gotta be real, right? It's right in front of me. This eggnog is not AI generated yet. I'll tell you though, I do enjoy this tasting. It tastes like it has like almost artificial vanilla. It's hard to say. There's clearly some actual spice that's in the drink itself, but the aroma wouldn't really lend that on all that much because it doesn't smell very spicy. Wow. They're all very different, I'll tell you that. What's the breakdown on eggnog? Does anybody out there know? Are they like pickles? Is it 50-50? People that love and hate eggnog? I think that it's mostly you either love it or hate it. I don't think there's any indifferent eggnog enjoyers. No one's just like, I guess I'll have some eggnog. You're either like, oh, it's December or it's November. I'm trying to find eggnog as soon as possible. Or you're one of those people when you hear that Nate's doing an eggnog tasting today, you go, ugh. And you make the eggnog face like, ugh. But anyway, leave your thoughts down below in the comments. If you enjoy this content, hitting subscribe is a huge help to us. But I would really actually like to know from you how divisive eggnog actually is. So diving into sample number 5. Creamy. This smells like melted vanilla ice cream. It basically is, right? This is eggnog is literally melted ice cream with nutmeg. Right? It's eggs made into a custard with heavy cream, sugar. I wish I knew more about this, but I'm realizing the eggnog is literally melted ice cream with nutmeg. Especially this one. Is this Hood? No. I will say that I'm enjoying the crap out of this. This is a lot of fun. A lot of different textures. A lot of different character. Sample number 5 was very creamy, very well-rounded, very spice-forward, and I thought it rendered really, really nicely on the first pass. I'm going to go back through for the second run. Sample number 1, very nutmeg-forward. Very thin, minimal egg. Sample number 2, chunky. I'm sorry, I like it. I don't know why I chuckled both times that I went into that one, but it's like so chunky that I have a hard time getting it actually on my palate. Yeah, I wonder if that's how that always is, or if someone actually let the custard go too long. I don't think it's a bad thing. It like messes with your perception of physics that you've learned your whole life in terms of when the liquid's gonna hit your palate, but then it doesn't. I think that's why I was laughing so much. All right, sample number 3. This is tough. This is hard. I don't like sample number 4. Samples number 3 and number 5 are registering a lot of similarities. I think sample number 5 is a lot creamier all around. I know we were laughing at sample number 2, but in terms of taste and texture, pretty awesome. I just wish it wasn't so thick. This is an interjection that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but one thing that's really nice to know about mediocre eggnog is you can make it excellent by adding bourbon. Pro tip, mediocre eggnog plus bourbon, great drink every time. This is way harder than any beer that I've ever had to pick out because it's like, I guess, eggnog's like ice cream. It's hard to make a bad eggnog. I'm an eggnog guy. We talked about this earlier. Love or hate eggnog. I love eggnog. I don't know anything about it. I know that if someone gives me one, or I know that if I open my aunt's or my mom's fridge and there's an eggnog, I'm going to drink it, whether it's from Hood, the local farm, whether she made it herself. I'm into eggnog no matter what. So I'm liking this tasting. I like all 5 of the samples for different reasons, and having to pick a favorite, frankly, is difficult. I do think sample number 4 has the most weirdness to it, so I think I can exclude sample number 4 pretty comfortably. So sample number 4, favorite of the tasting, because it has the most balance and is the most creamy, has the most nutmeg to the most egg character, is sample number 5. Sample number 5, close second, sample number 3. It had a lot of the character of sample number 5, but it just didn't get there on the palate. And sample number 1, honorable mention for being delicate and balanced, but I wouldn't want to add alcohol to sample number 1. It would water it down too much and make it, frankly, too easy to drink. What are we drinking?
Your number one is the Southern Comfort Traditional Eggnog.
Southern Comfort Traditional Eggnog. It doesn't mean anything to me. I don't even know what it looks like. Maybe I do.
Your number two is the Hood.
Number two is the Hood.
And then which one did you like on the ends there? Which?
Again, this one's got to be a mixer. I don't want to drink it on its own, too chunky. This one's nice on its own.
So the one on the end is Organic Valley.
This one?
Yep. And that's Nature's Promise Organic.
Nature, is that Stop and Shop's? Stop and Shop store brand. Okay. All right. The Southern Comfort and the Hood were actually quite similar, I thought. I don't know if there's any hardcore Hood people out there or hardcore Southern Comfort people, but I will tell you that they were pretty similar to my palate, with the Southern Comfort being all around more nutmeg forward, more creamy, and more delicious. All right, so we prepared a special surprise for the grand winner of today's eggnog tasting, and that was a special pour in the legendary reindeer glass, ladies and gentlemen. Happy holidays to you from Tree House. Come pay us a visit. We've got locations in Charlton, Deerfield, Tewksbury, Sandwich, Boston, Charlton. Did I say that? Woodstock, Connecticut. We love you guys. Thank you for watching, and happy holidays. Bingo.
Can I refill your eggnog for you? Get you something to eat? Drive you out to the middle of nowhere? Leave you for dead?
No, I'm doing just fine, Clark.